package in the mail, MSX games from Japan. Collecting without fail those shoot 'em ups, and that's the plan. He doesn't just collect them, he also codes them too. Join us and we'll go on electric adventures with you.
Hey YouTube, Electric Adventures here with my MSX shirt on and another 5 MSX games from 5 different publishers. A series that I am greatly enjoying. Get to play lots of games and I get to talk about them. So this one's a little shoot 'em up slanting. Again, there are so many shoot 'em ups for the MSX, so of course we're going to have a few of them throughout these videos, but there will be other types of games as we work our way through. But this particular one, we've got a few shoot 'em ups here. So I'll start with a game from Casio, and it's another other than Kid and Balloon, which I don't think I've ever played the real arcade game of this one. It's quite an interesting take on, I suppose, Galaxian Space Invader theme, where your main ship, or it's not a ship, it's actually 2 guys moving a catapult back and forth, or crossbow back and forth. You have to protect the king, who's down below bouncing around, and he keeps on getting captured and abducted all the time by the balloons. I don't know why balloons want to capture a king, but it's an interesting concept for a game, and it's actually quite good fun because the game, you know, the actual concept of the game is protecting the king, not necessarily yourself. I mean, if you get hit, the king can get captured while you're hit, but that doesn't lose your life, but losing a king does. And it has all those little arcade type features that make it a really good fun to play. So highly recommended to have a go on if you have a chance. Alright, our next game is from Taito again, so we've had a few games from Taito. I was completely ignorant of this one's existence for quite some time. It is Gyrodine, which is a vertical helicopter, shooting type game, where you shoot enemies in the air and also on the ground. I haven't had this game very long. I was actually really lucky winning this in an auction on a Japanese auction site. No other bidders. So I got it for quite literally $50, which is unheard of for a shoot 'em up on the MSX, especially complete in box like this. And I'd never really played it before, and I honestly haven't spent a lot of time playing it, so I'm still not tremendously good at it. My gameplay here, I do have a couple of goes to get into it, and it is quite well done. And once you get into the mechanics of the game, it's hard, but it is actually quite good fun to play. So a bit of an obscure one. I believe there's an NES version as well, which I don't think I've played either. But well worth checking out, and quite a decent little shoot 'em up. Alright, for our next game, we another title from Casio. They released heaps of titles for the MSX. This is one of their earlier releases and in a big box. It's called Eagle Fighter. This game is very interesting. It's got a lot of feels of Exurian or Afterburner in a little way. It does start out where you have to try and take off from the runway. And that part of it is really hard and really frustrating. You have to press the controls precisely in the right order, and it's not obvious. Obviously, all my instructions here are in Japanese. I thought I remembered how to do this, but I actually had to go and look it up online myself to figure out how to take off. Once you take off, you have a up in the air, almost like in space shooting section. It doesn't last very long, but if you go through that a couple of times, you get to a like a mothership with I think it's like a refueling arm, or I think that's as far as I got in this gameplay. I really honestly have had this title in my collection for ages, but haven't played it a lot because of the frustration with the taking off mechanic. But it is worth playing once you get the hang of that. It's got some more, and there's more game there to discover. So one of those little obscure titles, an earlier release by Casio, worth checking out. Alright, and next title, and we're going to introduce another publisher called Tomeland, and also Toshiba EMI, so dual publisher developers. This is another, say, early arcade title and probably early MSX game as well. It's AE. You have, it almost looks like it's written in compiled BASIC, with the way they draw the backgrounds, rather than they're using the drawing commands rather than storing the backgrounds. And you've got your ship down the bottom, and the longer you hold the button down, the further the shots go. I think that's how it goes, which can take a little bit of getting used to. And you need to try and hit the first enemy in the formation. Your shots, when they hit, they explode for a couple of seconds so they can catch the whole formation as they're flying around. The enemies move very fast, and it's all about timing and hitting the right place and learning the formations. I just thought it was an interesting, probably more obscure one. Once again, lucky to have a complete copy. I believe there was a version of this for the ColecoVision as well. I don't think I have it. So a bit more of an obscure one, and I mean, of the shoot 'em up genre, it can get a little frustrating unless you spend a bit of time learning the timing. Alright, last and definitely not least, we have another title for Konami. I pretty much have to include a Konami one in every video, otherwise we won't get through all of the Konami titles because there are so many of them. This one is a shoot 'em up. It's nothing to do with space. It's all to do with a knight running on the ground, getting past lots of different enemies. It's very well done, very professional. It's Knightmare. Lots of levels, lots of gameplay, and a really fun game to get into. You've got lots of different weapons you can select, and there's different strategies based on those. Other pickups you can pick up to get temporary immunity, a shield in front of you, moving fast, or where you're indestructible, where you can just run into things, versus the invisibility where they can't hit you. Lots of levels. Once again, my gameplay here probably doesn't do it justice. I actually used to play this game a lot, but I've lost some of my skills, let's put it that way. I do like to play it at 60 Hz, which makes it harder, and it's probably how these games should be experienced. But it's a really good game, really polished. It actually had 2 sequels, and a more modern, semi-inspired by homebrew sequel. The sequels are not shoot 'em ups though; they're more platform, adventure, explore type games, and we may have a look at one of those in the future. But really highly recommended. Perfectly playable under emulation or on real hardware, but seriously, check out this game on the MSX, you won't regret it. So there we go, there's another 5 games from 5 different publishers. I will have another one of these videos along soon, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'm Electric Adventures, thanks to all my subscribers, and I'll catch you next time.